My mama was a good person. She was the best mom anybody could ever ask for. My mama, she woke up every day and went to work for us. For us. My mama died trying to take care of us. She died.
And now we head over to breaking news where we're learning the identity of the McDonald's employee who's accused of stabbing her manager to death on Thursday. In the last 30 minutes, we've obtained this booking photo for Afeni Mohammed. Now, she's expected to be officially arraigned in the next hour.
A McDonald's manager sends home a problem employee. 5 minutes later, that same employee returns wearing a mask. 10 minutes after that, a mother of 6 is fighting for her life. This is how a simple workplace write-up became a murder scene. Jennifer Harris, everyone called her Jama, was living what most would call an impossible life. 39 years old. 6 children. 1 paycheck. You know what that means, right? Every single morning, Jennifer woke up knowing that 6 human beings were counting on her to keep the lights on, food in the fridge, and a roof over their heads. No sick days, no mental health breaks, no calling in because you just can't handle it today. So what did she do? She put on that McDonald's uniform and managed an entire restaurant crew while raising half a dozen kids alone. Some afternoons, you'd find those same children sitting in the restaurant after school, doing homework at the tables, waiting for mom's shift to end. Was it glamorous? Hell no, but it was love in action. Now here's where most managers would crack under pressure. But Jennifer, she found room in her heart to extend grace to new employees. She understood that everyone deserves a chance to prove themselves. Everyone deserves patience while they learn the ropes. That's exactly what she tried to give 26-year-old Afeni Mohammed when she joined the crew. But Atheni wasn't your typical hire. While most young women her age were posting selfies and sharing their weekend plans, Atheni was deep in a whole different world. And here's the kicker, she was obsessed with Chucky. You know, the murderous doll who stabs his way through horror movies with a kitchen knife and a psychotic laugh, now having unusual interests? That's fine. We all have our things. But Atheni didn't just watch these movies. She lived them. Chucky wasn't entertainment for her. He was inspiration, a whole mood, a lifestyle choice. And she brought that same chaotic energy straight into McDonald's. Think about this for a second. You're trying to run a fast food restaurant. You need employees who can handle pressure, serve customers with a smile, and work as a team. What you don't need is someone filming TikToks during the lunch rush, giving attitude to anyone who looks at them wrong, and treating company policy like a personal suggestion. But that's exactly what Atheni delivered, day after day after day. She wasn't just bad at her job, she was proudly bad at it. Half-hearted customer service became her signature, showing up late, her specialty. Following basic workplace rules, optional. Now Jennifer had managed restaurants long enough to know the difference between someone who's struggling to learn and someone who simply doesn't care. Atheni fell squarely in that second category. So Jennifer did what any responsible manager would do. She started documenting the problems, write-ups for poor performance, sending Atheni home when her attitude became too disruptive. Basic Management 101. But here's what Jennifer couldn't have known. Every single correction, every write-up, every time she sent Atheni home early was building something dangerous. Resentment. The kind that doesn't just fade away with time, the kind that grows stronger, darker, more focused with each passing day. And Atheni, she wasn't keeping quiet about it.
I sent home early yesterday. I got sent home early today by the same person. I'm telling you, she's a bully. This shit isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in this store, you know, disrespecting people, talking to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. And it isn't funny at all. Like, seriously, man, I got shit I gotta take care of. And she keeps sending me home early. It's not funny. She's playing games. And then all day, throughout the day, she keeps sending her little racial shit. And then throughout the day, she keeps on like putting negative energy in the air, talking about people, gossiping about people. It's not funny, man. That shit gonna have to stop. She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully.
Listen to that voice. Hear the anger building? She's not just upset about being corrected at work. She's crafting a narrative where she's the victim and Jennifer is some kind of workplace bully. But let's break this down. Jennifer wasn't targeting Atheni because she didn't like her personally. She was doing her job holding an employee accountable for their performance. That's literally what managers are supposed to do. The problem? Atheni couldn't handle being held accountable, and instead of improving her work performance or finding a job that better suited her, she decided the real issue was Jennifer herself. When most people get written up at work, they either shape up or ship out. Maybe they complain to friends over drinks or vent to family members. Normal stuff. Atheni took a completely different route. She declared war on social media. Her Instagram became ground zero for what can only be described as a public meltdown. Every story, every post, every caption dripped with hostility aimed directly at Jennifer. The woman who was just trying to do her job suddenly became the villain in Atheni's twisted narrative. "I said nope. Not today," she wrote on one slide. Another read, "and laughing like it's funny."
And it isn't funny at all. Like seriously, man, I got shit I gotta take care of.
These weren't random thoughts or song lyrics. They were battle cries. Digital threats wrapped in the language of someone who felt wronged by the universe itself. Now, most employers don't monitor their workers' social media accounts. Maybe they should, but they don't. So while Atheni was building her case for revenge online, Jennifer was completely unaware that her every workplace decision was being turned into ammunition against her. The posts got more cryptic, more ominous. Atheni wasn't just venting anymore. She was planning. Each caption read like a countdown to something terrible. Her followers probably thought it was typical social media drama, just another young woman being dramatic about her job. They had no idea they were watching someone document their descent into murder. Transcript section. Atheni's second workplace rant would be inserted here. Hear how the anger has intensified. She's not just complaining about being sent home anymore. She's accusing Jennifer of being a psychopath, of pulling guns on her own children.
Then one day she coming in there talking about some yeah, I broke my door in half and I had to pull my gun out on my kids and this and that. Well, you know, telling us that like the fuck you telling us you pulled a gun out on your kids for? You sound like a fucking psychopath. That's what I wanted to tell her. She was talking about some she blacked out. I'm like, yeah, you must have had blacked out if you pulled the gun out on your kids. Like, you know, like I'm like, what the fuck you telling me this for? Like,
this isn't workplace frustration. This is character assassination. Atheni is building a case in her own mind that Jennifer is somehow the dangerous one. The psychological manipulation here is staggering. Atheni is taking normal disciplinary actions and reframing them as personal attacks. She's taking Jennifer's stress about managing 6 kids as a single parent and twisting it into evidence of instability. But here's what really matters. Atheni isn't just ranting to release steam. She's convincing herself that Jennifer deserves whatever comes next. Remember, Atheni didn't just post angry captions. She made music. DIY tracks that sounded like they were recorded in someone's basement after a complete mental breakdown. The lyrics weren't just bad, they were windows into a mind that was clearly unraveling. Those aren't song lyrics, they're confessions.
Want to stop it. Thought to myself, damn, I'm white chocolate. Bitch suffocating me. Time to move. She just some got shit. I turned the heat on. She wanted off. She get under her covers and snore and snot. I'm laying in my bed looking at the ceiling all night. Eventually, I finally doze off, and I only counted 1 Z, 2 sheep, and a kite. I'm tossing and turning, cause she woke me up before the roosters could say cock-a-doodle high. Now I got this bitch burning, cause I was freezing and I turned the heat on 85.
Listen to the progression from heartbreak to rage to threats of violence. Maybe I should just stop everything and go to the gate where the angels sing. That's not poetic metaphor. That's someone fantasizing about death. Combined with her Chucky obsession, her workplace outbursts, and her social media threats, Atheni was essentially broadcasting her intentions. She was telling anyone who would listen that she was done playing by normal rules. The question becomes, why didn't anyone take these red flags seriously? How did someone this unstable continue showing up to work at a place where she clearly felt victimized and increasingly violent? Summer 2025. The tension between Jennifer and Atheni had reached a breaking point. Every shift they worked together became a powder keg waiting to explode. Atheni's performance hadn't improved. If anything, it had gotten worse as her resentment grew. Jennifer kept doing what she had to do. More write-ups, more early dismissals, more documentation of an employee who simply refused to do the job she was being paid for. By July, Atheni's social media had become a daily diary of workplace grievances. She posted constantly about being disrespected, about being bullied, about how Jennifer didn't understand what she was capable of. The scary part, some of her followers were actually encouraging her. Comments like, "Don't let her treat you like that," and "Show her who's boss" filled her posts. Social media had become an echo chamber, amplifying her victim complex and validating her growing rage. Before we get too deep, hit the like button, share your take in the comments, and tap subscribe with the bell so you never miss the next episode of Deranged Women. On the morning of July 10th, Atheni posted what would be her final cryptic message, again, "Shake my head." Her followers didn't know what it meant. Within hours, the whole world would. Picture a typical McDonald's morning rush. Customers grabbing coffee before work, employees preparing for another busy day. Jennifer Harris arriving early, like always, ready to manage her team and keep everything running smoothly. Atheni showed up too. Same attitude, same problems, same refusal to follow basic workplace expectations. Jennifer did what any manager would do. She sent her home. Clock out, leave the premises, come back tomorrow with a better attitude. For Jennifer, it was just another difficult conversation with a problem employee. She probably thought about her 6 kids waiting at home, the bills that needed paying, the dozen other things on her manager's to-do list. For Afeni, it was the final straw, the last humiliation. The moment she decided Jennifer Harris had embarrassed her for the last time. But here's the chilling part. Atheni didn't just storm out angry. She didn't slam doors or scream threats or throw things. She left quietly, calmly, like someone who had already made up their mind about what came next. She went to her car, she grabbed a mask, and she walked back into that McDonald's with murder on her mind. When Afeni Mohammed walked back through those McDonald's doors, everything about her had changed. The mask covering her face wasn't just a disguise, it was her transformation into the killer she'd been fantasizing about becoming. Jennifer was behind the counter, probably thinking about the morning rush ahead, maybe wondering if sending Afeni home would finally get through to her. She had no idea that her problem employee had just become her executioner. Afeni didn't hesitate. She didn't announce herself or make threats or give Jennifer a chance to run. She walked straight toward her manager and started stabbing, over and over and over again. The attack was swift, brutal, and absolutely relentless. This wasn't a moment of passion or a single strike in anger. This was methodical violence. Atheni was acting out every revenge fantasy she'd been nurturing for months, every Chucky movie she'd obsessed over, every violent lyric she'd written in her basement studio. The other employees scattered in terror. One worker later said, "She started stabbing her and I ran for help. I tried to stop her. It was no stopping her. She stabbed her everywhere."
She left for 5 minutes. She came back with a mask on her face, and the only thing I seen was her hands. That's how I knew it was her. And she started stabbing her, and I ran for help, and basically asking everybody like help or whatever. I tried to stop her. It was no stopping her. She stabbed her everywhere.
Think about that for a moment. A coworker tried to intervene and couldn't. Atheni was so focused, so determined, so completely consumed with killing Jennifer, that nothing else mattered. Not the screaming, not the chaos, not the other people watching in horror. This was her movie, her moment, her chance to be the killer she'd always admired. But here's where Atheni's perfect murder plan hit an unexpected obstacle. A customer sitting in the drive-thru line happened to be a licensed gun owner. He watched this masked figure attacking a defenseless woman and knew he had to act. He fired a warning shot into the air. Her victim was down, but now she had a new problem. An armed citizen, who wasn't going to let her walk away. She tried to flee, but the customer wasn't done. He got out of his vehicle and held Atheni at gunpoint until police arrived. No dramatic chase scene, no Hollywood ending where the killer escapes into the night. Just a regular person with a concealed carry permit who decided that watching someone get murdered wasn't acceptable. By the time paramedics reached Jennifer, she was already fighting a losing battle. The attack had been too vicious, too sustained, too focused on causing maximum damage. Her family started getting phone calls and seeing posts on social media. Can you imagine that? Learning that your mother, your sister, your loved one has been stabbed at work through Facebook notifications and frantic phone calls from friends. They rushed to the hospital, probably praying the whole way that it wasn't as bad as people were saying. Maybe she was just injured. Maybe she'd pull through. Maybe this was all some terrible misunderstanding. But there was no miracle waiting at the hospital. Jennifer Harris, 39 years old, mother of 6, died from her injuries. Not because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not because of a robbery gone wrong, but because she dared to hold an employee accountable for their job performance. Brief transcript section. Children's grief would be inserted here. Those voices belong to children who will never see their mother again. Kids who depended on Jennifer for everything: food, shelter, safety, love. Now they're trying to understand why someone they met, someone who gave them stickers and said hello when they visited their mom at work, decided to take her away from them forever. While Jennifer's children were learning to navigate a world without their anchor, Atheni was sitting in a jail cell, finally facing the consequences of her fantasy turned reality. The evidence against her was overwhelming. Witnesses, video footage. Her own social media posts documenting her escalating hatred toward Jennifer. Her obsession with violence. Her music lyrics fantasizing about death and revenge. But perhaps the most damning evidence was the premeditation. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment crime. Atheni left the building, got a mask, and came back with the specific intention of killing Jennifer Harris. That's first-degree murder, and the prosecution had everything they needed to prove it. Law enforcement started asking the uncomfortable questions. How many red flags were missed? How many warning signs went unheeded? How does someone this unstable continue showing up to work day after day? Her followers thought she was just being dramatic. Her coworkers knew she was difficult, but didn't realize she was dangerous. Jennifer herself was too busy managing a restaurant and raising 6 kids to monitor the Instagram account of a problem employee. The system failed at every level. Background checks that didn't catch her psychological instability. Social media platforms that allowed her to broadcast threats without consequence. A workplace culture that treated her behavior as merely annoying rather than alarming. And now 6 children are orphaned because every adult who could have intervened chose to look the other way. Remember, danger can wear a friendly face. Stay aware, look out for others, and reach out if you need help. See you in the next case on Deranged Women. Thanks for watching.